There's a heaviness that is settling upon you. There's a heaviness that is settling upon you. And it is not just a heaviness, but there is a sadness. And as we have spoken before, emotions that you experience are your way of your divinity pulling you and guiding you into the balance point of divinity. Sadness helps you to quiet and to be able to see the thing that needs to be seen. There is a sadness that is being experienced there. But there is also a heightened. Yes, it's artificially heightened. It's not truly manufactured because there is anger is there to give you the energy and the direction to move, to change something. In your distortions, you're feeling sadness, anger, and a desperation. You know what you're experiencing is not in line with divinity. You know it. Now, you may rationalize and come up with great philosophical reasons as to why this is good and how this is beneficial, and that you're learning all these great things. Please stop. Please stop putting up and returning the distortions that we are carefully dismantling. You have wounds, and you have placed band-aids and covers over these wounds, and you have, in some cases, decorated the wounds, and you tell yourself that this band-aid or this covering is healing, bringing healing to your wound, but you do not truly look at the wound. You do not go down to the wound. You stop before you get to the wound, because you're just saying, no, this covering is healing it. This covering is fixing it. This covering is making me better and stronger. I don't even have a wound there anymore. It's been there for so long. You even forgot there was a wound there. We've had to move to a more isolated spot. Now we will go back to discussing the wound. You have a wound. You have many wounds. These wounds were not allowed to heal on their own in the natural, divine course of things. So you were convinced that the best thing to help your wound heal was to put a covering upon it, a band-aid, or some other kind of covering. And the covering was placed upon these wounds. And these wounds may have had more than one covering upon it. And the coverings get decorated, and it's explained to you in very long-winded and rationalizations as to why this covering is what you need, and why this covering is helping you. And you become very proud of these coverings. The coverings become part of your identity, part of how everyone else sees you, how you express yourself, who you are. And whenever you feel a twinge of pain, you go back to talk to the covering, The covering will fix it. The covering is smart. The covering is wise. The covering is beautiful. The covering is strong. Oh, how brilliant of an idea was to have this covering. But you never took the covering and pulled the covering back and look at the wound. You only experienced the wound through the covering. And any time there is a failing or a pain or a twinge, you don't address the wound, you address the covering. You add more layers to the covering, more decorations to the covering. But you don't address the wound. We have been trying to carefully and with compassion and love remove the coverings. Help you to see that the covering is just superficial and is not benefiting you. If the wound has not healed, if you're still having twinges, if you're still having pains, then there is something else going on and you need to remove the covering. But you feel very attached to this covering. In some instances, the skin around where the covering has become weakened and fragile. And so the idea of removing the covering may actually make the wound seem to be bigger. And so you absolutely will not remove this covering. We did not want to address this because we did not want to bring more attention and energy into this that has been going on in this tiny, tiny speck of a moment. But she has recalled to us that just as at the very beginning we had the illustration of the hungry child and the mother, and that the mother has one perspective on the situation, that dinner is being fixed, and she does not want to ruin the child's appetite. And the child has another perspective on the situation. It is hungry. There is pain. Its soul is crying out for food. But it is limited in its ability to attain that food on its own. So it cries out to the mother, help. Now, the child may try to get food on its own, but the mother may say, no, that's not what, I don't want you to have that. So this is not an issue of learning to solve your problems for yourself. Please stop. Just stop. Just totally stop. Get that out of your head. Because you're too distorted, you cannot solve this problem on your own. You are making it worse by insisting upon the fact that I must have the right to make my own decisions for myself and I don't want anyone else to make decisions for me. You are creating so many more problems. So many more problems. Because you don't realize from our perspective what on earth you're doing and the horrible mess you're creating, not just for yourselves, but for everything around you. And this is not going to be allowed to continue. And the harder you push and determine that you are the master of your universe, if that is the case, this is a very sorry universe because it's a total mess. You are not going to learn how to make this better. It is not going to happen because you have all the pieces you have been given were carefully laid out so that you could only have so many options. I know we're going to be referring to several different storylines here and illustrations, and it may seem confusing, but it is a point that is necessary. It is considered on your planet in this space. There is a game that is played called chess. And it is considered by many to be a very intelligent game and a game for the wisest. And many people take the ideas and metaphors that are found in this game of chess, and they apply it, and they move through life as though they are playing chess. This piece can make these moves, this piece can make these moves, and this piece can make these moves. With that information, how can I get from here to there? The entire concept of the idea of chess and how people are using it to play life and thinking it is strategy is all a carefully manipulated and organized distortion to always keep you limited. Throw away the chess. Throw away the chessboard. Throw away the concept. This is an illustration for life, and this is how things work. And these are the rules, and this is how I can move. And I know how they can, and then I can get ahead. And I throw it away. So many of you, especially those of you who see a little bit more than the average. It has been limited, so the average are so busy, are so overwhelmed with just trying to survive from day to day, that they never have the idea to get of freedom, because they're too stuck. There is no way for them to experience freedom that exists in divinity. For those who are a little higher in the intelligence, there has been given to you enough toys to keep you distracted and to think that you are accomplishing great things and that you are wise and you see the big picture. You do not. You do not see the big picture. You do not see what is happening. You do not know who is giving you these things. They have told you you're great and wise and look at the complicatedness. It is not complicated. It is just some busy work that has been given to keep you distracted so that they can continue to keep you in the hierarchical mindset of survival of the fittest. If anyone is ever willing to sacrifice anyone else's well-being at that moment to get themselves in even if it's just to maintain the position they are in, this is hierarchical. This is not of the divine. It is going away. Why has what you are seeing occurring been allowed to come to this level? My dearest, what you call politics, which is just a little game meant to keep you distracted and busy, is working as a mirror. It is working as a mirror to help you to see your own distortions more clearly. The majority of you have this divine pull, this divine call that know when you're standing there what is right and what is wrong for one person. But as soon as you allow these ideas of rationalizations, these people were wiser, these people were smarter, these people understood, they formed this in a better way, they've come up with a better game, they've come up with a better idea. All that this is here for at this point, the only reason it's being allowed to remain and continue, is to give a mirror to the souls, so that you may see who you are. And I ask you this. Those whom you see as being the other side, the ones whom you see as being distorted and manipulated and tricked or evil or dark, okay. Listen to what they are saying about you. Listen to what they are saying about you. And look carefully. Are you giving up too much of your individuality to a government to make rules and laws? Are you, in the name of government, making excuses for the victimization of others who may be different from you in one way or another? Do you believe in countries, boundaries, that they exist? Do you see an imaginary line and as real? Why are you seeing this? Why are you seeing it? Why are you taking the line and say, someone that from this side of the river, I will treat this way. Someone from that side of the river, I will treat that way. And someone from this side of the river can't come to my side of the river because of how it will affect me. And if you try to come across the river, I will treat you differently. I am calling this a crime. Oh, I hate those words. Crime. Laws. They are filthy. They are disgusting. They are repulsive. There are no such thing as anything being, as you would term it, legal or illegal. Contracts are repulsive. Legal agreements, repulsive. The worst of the worst is those, what do they call them? Non-disclosure agreements. Anybody who has ever used a non-disclosure agreement, run from the hills. That is only of evil intent. There is no other intent. Anyone who demands loyalty, insists upon loyalty, run for the hills. You cannot demand or insist upon loyalty. There are many things that are spinning in her head, and there's no way for her to. There are many things in her head. So many distortions. And so much sadness. So much sadness.